really just trying to figure out when Black Lives Matter became Black Lives Marketing?
Joanna, your busy body giving me life, oh, hey life, hey. Why you do me like Joanna, Joanna? Why you do me like hey, Joanna, Joanna?
So as we all know, we are literally in the middle of a revolution. Our Black people are standing together and demanding justice for those of us who have just gotten tired of the racial injustices and police brutality and the literal murders of unarmed Black people. We have reached our wits' end, honey, and the shit has turned all the way up. And due to that, there's also been a shift in social media, which leads to a shift in businesses and marketing. So it came a point where you literally couldn't scroll without seeing the headlines. You couldn't scroll without seeing George Floyd, without seeing Ahmaud Arbery, without seeing Breonna Taylor. Like, we were over it. We were flooding timelines and demanding justice. And it started with asking for the arrest of the officers who killed a lot of the innocent Black folks. But it then started to shift to also looking at different companies, different actual individuals who've been displayed nothing but racism. Like, it came to a head, y'all, and we right in the middle of the shits. And thanks to all of that, something very weird started to happen as well. Companies that have been openly racist, openly showing discriminatory actions toward Black employees, customers, patrons, whatever, are now coming out of the blue with Black Lives Matter signs and t-shirts and commercials. So while there are some companies that we actually do appreciate because they've not just been new to it, they're true to it. Shout out Ben & Jerry's. I can't even eat ice cream, but I see y'all. But there are companies that have openly, before it was a trend, tried to provide different opportunities for Black people and people of color. So for those, we commend them. But I had to just call this out because I'm seeing pandering to a whole nother level. It's problematic when a company will spend just a little tinge of their marketing budget to make sure that they have something that reads Black Lives Matter and hang it in their brick and mortar or their physical location when you have a sign outside that will say Black Lives Matter in a gentrified neighborhood where Black people aren't even welcome in and they were ran out of. You have a Black Lives Matter sign hanging in a storefront where if Black people come in, they are profiled and followed. Hanging a Black Lives Matter sign in a restaurant or a store where you won't even hire Black people to work there is problematic. Save your sign, save your marketing budget, save it all. Because the real actual growth and evolution will come in the hiring, the training, understanding first where you are wrong and not already having that implemented, and then making actual effort to make sure that you are there is actual inclusion. Because another weird thing that's happening right now is a lot of companies are hiring these diversity and inclusion experts who most of the time are not even Black people or a person of color, telling a company how they should be inclusive and include Black people and hosting a conference or a seminar for it. That's wasted revenue, that's wasted money, and that's not a good solution. If you are interested in actually proving that you believe that Black Lives Matter and you want to make a positive impact on Black lives, provide opportunities for those Black lives. I mean, it's pretty simple when you think about it. If you want your company to show diversity, Don't try to quote unquote teach the white executives that you already have in place. Let's rotate those chairs around and pull a few more up to the table. Because it's not an issue that black people aren't educated. We have the college degrees, we have the certifications, we have the experience, we have it. What we don't have is the opportunities. And what we don't need is you pandering us with a Black Lives Matter sign. And as someone with over 15 years of experience in the human resources field, in both private sector and on the federal government level, I know how those rooms work. And I know how much my blackness was kind of forced to be diluted at times. Changing those type of cultures is how you prove that Black Lives Matter. Hire more black people. Allow them to be vocal and their opinions to be heard. Allow their ideas to manifest and actually be implemented. Don't just have them there as a token and then you're limiting their resources and their authority within that workplace. That's how you can show and prove that Black lives truly matter to your company. And speaking of HR, we as people also have to keep in mind, just because we see those Black Lives Matter signs, everyone isn't an ally. Like I said, I have HR experience. I know what it's like to have a marketing budget. And I know what companies to go to purchase those signs, how to get it done, who to talk to get the expedited shipping, honey. I've done it before for plenty of causes. That didn't necessarily mean the company that I was doing it for held any actual weight in that particular thing, or if it was something that they even cared about. Most of it, to be completely honest, was a calendar reminder in my Outlook to order a sign or a banner for breast cancer awareness or anything that would make the company look more employee friendly, just more of like an advocate for the community. Anything that would give them kind of that gloss to make them appear to be a better company was something that I was authorized to do. So when we're seeing these companies display these, and they're beautiful giant banners that read Black Lives Matter on the side of their buildings, and painting Black Lives Matter in their parking lots. Like, it's the artistic expression to show that you support Black Lives Matter has been crazy. But we got to get outside of the aesthetics. We really have to look at how many actual black people work in this organization. And the ones that work there, how many reports have they had about racial bias or sexual harassment, or like, what's the actual culture there of these places that they're working? If you are a white business that is set up shop in what used to be a predominantly black area, try to find ways that you can actually pour back into what is left of the remnants of that former community. Hire people from the actual community. And when they come into your place of business, actually allow them to shop without being followed and profiled. I don't need to see a Black Lives Matter sign, sis. I need to see some action. And if you are going to do that, if you are going to attempt to pander, let's work on some real progress.
Black people, you still live here. Black people, you still live here. Gentrifiers, fire, fire, gentrifiers. Gentrifiers, gentrifiers. Black people, you still live here. Black women, you still live here. Fire, fire, gentrifiers. Fire, fire, gentrifiers.
So in conclusion, we really just have to be mindful to not fall into the trap of being pacified with the idea that they are supportive and they are an ally just because they can say Black Lives Matter. I think that for the most part, people have realized that that is kind of the trigger saying to kind of smooth things over. But we are past the point of being pacified. We are past the point of doing things for an artistic aesthetic. I don't care about your banner if I cannot gainfully be employed here, or if I am not even welcome to shop here, or if you guys came in and raised the property value of this place so much that it ran me and all of my black friends and family out of this neighborhood because it was gentrified. Like, we have to stop falling for the trap of what we know is to just be a very shallow attempt to get them on our, to get us on their side. What I know, what most people would like right now, especially businesses, would just like for this to kind of calm down, pipe down, and kind of smooth over so things can just go back to status quo. Things are different now. It's shifted, and we are no longer there. It has gotten to the point that Black Lives Matter is now a stock photo. As a creative, I have access to all of those things that everyone uses, from the corporate level to the small businesses, to create graphics, to have them printed. I have access to all of it. If you log into those platforms, if you log into the Cricut studio space, you log into the Silhouette space, you log into Adobe, you log into Canva, you log on to Vistaprint, all of it has Black Lives Matter as a stock photo at this point. You can literally download a Black Power fist. It is that easy. And a lot of what's happening is there are companies now who, which we kind of had a glimpse about, but there are a lot of foreign companies that are also literal companies in blackface. They are selling shirts that say melanin or Black Lives Matter, and it is actually not a black owned or even a person of color owned company. It will be an Asian owned company who is simply mass producing these things off of slave labor, mind you, just to profit. And the sad thing is they will overshadow an actual small business owner that is a black owned company, because those major companies have larger marketing budgets. So you'll see their shirts on Facebook ads because they're paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to run them. But just because you see a black image on a shirt or you see a black aesthetic does not mean that it is black owned. That is just another form of Black Lives Matter marketing. And that's not what we need. Our true empowerment is going to come from supporting actual black businesses. So when you're purchasing from something and it's saying that it's black owned, make sure you can put a face to the black, make sure you can put a face to that black owner. The brand, Conscious Kingdom. The owner, me. Okay? And that's just something that we have to do, because it's now been it's our civil rights and this movement, because it's beyond a moment. Our movement has now been turned into a commodity yet again. People see our passion and our unity, and they're trying to monetize off of it. So just make sure before you are quick to run into, I know we're still kind of on quarantine thanks to Rona, but some states are open, and while you're out, make a conscious effort to shop black. Make a conscious effort to eat at a black-owned restaurant. Make a conscious effort to, even if you have to have something from fast food, try to see if you can find a black-owned franchise of that said fast food. Like, I know it may seem like little small changes, but they can be so major if we're all doing our part. We cannot fall for the okie doke. We have always had people who are non-black infiltrate our movements and our progress. Now it's just happening on social media. Now it's just happening in our neighborhoods with the Black Lives Matter signs. Don't fall for it until you actually can see what their true intentions are. Black Lives Matter is not a marketing tool. Our passion for our people and demanding justice against racial injustices and police brutality is not a marketing tool. It is not something to be turned into a sales pitch. It is very real for us, and it needs to be taken serious. So, if corporate America wants us to actually take it serious and they want to actually take this movement serious and show and prove that Black lives truly do matter, it's pretty simple. Hire, train, promote, and repeat. Hey, so if you enjoyed that video and you like my Black Men Are Dope t-shirt, make sure that you check out shopconsciouskingdom.com for this design and plenty of our others, as well as check out our weekly podcast. It's called Freedom Podcast. All of this information will be in the bio, but definitely make sure that you check us out. We're available on Spotify, Google Play, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. So if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on social media, and check out the website, shopconsciouskingdom.com.